This is Holly's Wild Side, presented by Holly Miami.
Hello and welcome. I'm Holly Miami and this is Holly's Wild Side. This is a brand new show here on radio. We're going to bring you an alternative way of looking after your music and probably other things as well, but that's the way it goes. So stick with us for the next 2 hours and let's take a wander through the wilder side of life, starting with plenty of stuff that you can bop along to.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it.
Number one local radio station.
I like it.
The wonderful snap from Madagascar there. Yes, basically the premise of this first show here on Radio Wolves, I am actually playing videos for this show. If you want to pop along to hollymiami.com, there is a link to my Twitch channel which is going out right now, all on pictures. So all the tunes I'm playing for you are actually videos that you can actually see. So some of them will be a bit strange, some of them will actually have like talking bits at the end, because that one did, and talking bits in the middle, but that's basically how it goes. So who am I? I'm Holly Miami. I'm here on Radio Wolves for the first time, and if I don't get this right, it'll be for the last time. But hey ho, that's how it goes. As I say, I'm going to play some bouncy tunes to start off with. We got a couple of hours to get to know each other, and I've probably got a lot more to tell than you have, but there you go. That's just the way it goes. That is what it's all about when you do the sort of things that I do and the sort of things that I did.
Number one hits music station.
Most certainly is. Yes, I'll remember to turn the mic up as well. Look, there's too much to do here. Dear Miss Nelly Furtado and your I'm Like a Bird, will you stop leaping off trees without all health and safety gear, please, my darling? You'll give people the wrong idea. Yes, I am the presenter that deliberately takes a pop at the very music that I have chosen to play for you lovely people. After all, let's face it, having been a muso myself, I know all about what goes on behind the scenes. And I know all about those hours in the studio thinking to yourself, when will this ever end? And then you put the record out and people think themselves, when will this ever end? Yeah, never mind, we'll move on from that. So as I say, a lot of the stuff, apart from being very video friendly, has been driven by what I've heard around the Prides. My little outfit, Miami Media, has dragged itself around. Funny stories about this. I did most of my filming in what we call a mobile rig, so I use a monopod and gimbal stabilizer on the camera, and I became infamous for charging around. I sort of adopted a little bit of a uniform where I had a white skirt and a logoed top and a logoed baseball hat, and this huge great camera on a stabilizer leaping around. Now, a couple of the artists who work in the stages, and the lovely Champagne Shirley will understand this, because when you're working a crowd, you don't always stay on the stage, and a couple of the artists got wind of this, and there's a particular guy called Kyle Finn, you may or may not have heard. Kyle got wind of this. Now, Kyle is a very, very fit, in all senses of the word, 25-year-old guy who can leg it up and down a Pride field about 10 times faster than, and he took it upon himself to start charging around. Of course, my brief was to keep the artist in frame. He knew this. He had me running around. There was a little bit of a gif came up in the chat room earlier on about a great big large person leaping around. Well, that was me trying to follow the artist. But hey ho, we got there in the end.
Guests have one of them.
All the number one songs in the Hello Universe. Some kick-ass.
Wild Cherry and his Play That Funky Music Till You Die. There's something that floats around the socials. It's a little cartoon, and basically there is a skeleton down in a grave with a guitar across it, and the other said, well, how did he go? And the first one said, well, he played that funky music till he died. You see, it goes on even more. It carries on right the way through. The whole idea of being a little bit light-hearted with the whole thing is all about the entertainment angle, what we do here here on Wildside. A lot of people have asked me where my name has come from, and I will tell you that in let's say it's about 3 tunes time, because a lot of this first show is to introduce myself to you all and to allow you to see exactly what kind of buffoonery can be on what is quite a very, very good radio station. And as the lovely Darren said before me, if we make it on to next week, it'll be a miracle. But there you go. So Radio Wolves has got a really full packed program this what day are we on Wednesday? This Wednesday. It'll be like Brushwood next Wednesday. They'll have fired us all. But hey ho, there we go.
Attention everyone. One.
Yes, I'm having to learn all the jingles as we go on. The jingle player I use sort of tells me how long it's got to run out. But the trouble is, a lot of jingles have got a dead space at the end, and it doesn't quite work that way. And I'm pondering and wondering. Yes, Wigfield, Saturday night. Regular followers of this show will realise, as I said earlier on, I am the presenter that takes a pop at the music I play. And I said a few times on songs like this, I hope they got paid by the hour and not by the word, because there was only 3 words in it, so they will have got £3 for that. And let's face it, it probably made countless millions in the charts, and whoever wrote it just sort of got the short end, but serves them right for not putting more words in. I could have put loads in, been complete gibberish, but it would have been more words. That's worth it, isn't it?
Left speaker. Check. Right speaker. Check. Mic. Check. Banging beats. Check. Here we go.
Look, there's no point having all this camera gear around. Girl can't touch her makeup up. There you go. Yes, who was that? Newton, sometime when we touch. Yes, one of the ones that I actually picked up when I was out and about filming, because I sort of heard the beginning part. Oh yes, I know this one. And then it burst into the dancey bit in the middle. I thought, that's quite cool. And they still managed to keep the harmonies going as well. Look, whose name is on this show? Right. Let's take this back to the beginning. Like I say, I became me for about 5.5 years ago now, and for the first 5 years I was me. I held down a full-time, very public-facing job in a very blokey atmosphere known as the motor trade. I actually delivered cars and vans and trucks around the countryside to people, their new vehicles. Yes, I know that's my chair creaking. You'll hear the wind chimes in a minute. It shows its life. But in order, you've got to remember, I came out into this job that I'd already been doing for 10 years. So it was a little bit of a stretch, to say the least. Now, anybody in my position will tell you that this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing. This was planned. I had planned this for a minimum of 10 years before I did it. And numerous different things stopped me actually doing it, including my career, including, like I say, the time in front of the cameras. You can't sort of be a Sky TV presenter and be the way I am now. Well, you couldn't back then anyway. Anyway, that's all beside the point. So when I did come out, a lot of the guys I was working with at the time said, you know, okay, this is your new name. You'll please have to excuse me if I get it wrong. I've known you for 10 years under the other name. That's cool. I'm good with that. And the only person who ever got it wrong any amount of time was me. Picking up the phone. You got to remember, I'd been answering a phone for all my adult life. Anyway, and a number of people said, okay, Holly Miami. So where did the name come from? Listen to the first 2 lines of this. You'll get it.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is Holly Miami in the mix.
Yes, you did hear the sound of every single fader on the desk being whacked up at the end, right? The story behind that is, in 1971, when that song came out, I was 14. I wasn't a normal kid. I wasn't a normal lad then. I didn't play football with the guys. In fact, I was never happier than when I was at home, being with my mother, helping her sew up my sister's ballet dresses. She never made one for me. But anyway, that song came out, and I first of all thought, bearing in mind I was very, very naive. I come from a very small town in South Wales where everything is extremely, very small-minded Welsh. And when it came out, all I thought I loved was that dreamy sax break at the end. Many, many years later, I listened to the words and thought, that's me. That's me. Somebody's written a song about me, and of course it was written in 71. Now, the story goes on, so I said, right, I'm going to be Holly from Miami. Holly, Miami. So, I opened up a Facebook account. No, I didn't. I tried to open up a Facebook account. Facebook wouldn't let me have Miami like the name of the American town. So I changed spelling. And that, dear folks, is where my name came from. That name has opened so many doors because of the spelling. MYAMI has opened so many doors. For example, I have hollymiami.com because it's unique. I have miamimedia.com. I have hollymiami at hotmail.com. It's funny, I was talking to a lady in the insurance company a few weeks ago, and she said, do you know, I've done this job for 18 years and never known anybody have a Hotmail address without sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something. So well done, Facebook. You gave me a lovely name, and I can have a Hotmail now. Hey-ho, that's the way it goes.
And now, live on the decks, bringing you the hottest sounds. Let's go.
Allman Brothers Band with Jessica, obviously nice live version there. You'll find that when I do a video show, and it's not every week, so this is because it's my first time on Radio Wolves, I thought I would celebrate by showing you all what I look like. Yeah, I know you all turned off in droves. Come back, get me from the pub. But yes, normally it's just me and the radio, but occasionally for special occasions I'll sort of drag out all the video kit. It is a lot of a hassle and a lot of faff, but sometimes it's a bit of fun. Like I say, it introduces me to all you lovely people. But when I do video stuff, I do tend to use live versions because basically it gives you something to look at, and it takes me back to where I used to be when I played in the bands before I got too sort of old and worn out and couldn't lug all them bass rigs around, and now I just sit behind the desk and talk to you lovely people. What's not to love?
Lock it on to the best station on the net. Online. Around the planet on the World Wide Web. Streaming 24/7. Internet radio.
I did say whenever I did these video shows I'd have video jingles so I didn't have to sit here looking like a pranet. Right, dear censors, he was definitely saying uptown funk you up. Oh, I know how Dazzle feels now. You fly so close to the wind with some of these things. I tell you what, that one really went well with the events of the summer. I can remember one in particular. Cirencester rings a bell in Gloucestershire, and it was a lovely outdoor event. Most of the ones I filmed were, and it was brilliant because what you've got to remember is if you position yourself right in the field, and at that particular occasion I had my back to the stage, so I was looking at the audience, and to see like a whole field, what are we talking, I don't know, 500, 600, 700 people all dancing to the same song. That is what I mean when I say about the joy about being out to play again. And the diary is already filling up for next year, and I'm just about coasting through the winter doing some indoor events for some of the acts that I actually met while I was out filming last year. So it all carries on, and I'm able to bring these lovely joyful occasions to you people. But yes, uptown funk you up. Right, okay, let's move along a bit now. Let's go back to some of the bands I used to play in, and I'm going to whisper this, and you can see me on the camera. I'm whispering. Look, I'm whispering that I was actually involved in country music. Yes, I know you don't admit that too much. Particularly, people normally look down. I can remember when I first joined country bands, people, oh, couldn't you get a proper band? But the thing is, country music gets under your skin. And some of the later stuff, I've done numerous country music shows on different stations and at different times, and it all involves getting my gingham dress, my pink hat out. Hey, look, what excuse do you need to do such things? Such a thing. Right, so I got to put a couple of country tunes back to back now, starting off with a lovely guy called George Goss, and they have a common theme, and it's the honky tonk.
Lock it on to the best station on the net. Online. Around the planet on the World Wide Web. Streaming 24/7. Internet radio.
Yes, before I forget, huge shout out to the absolutely delightful Andy Jones, who has followed me for many, many years, not literally, on radio. Sorry, Andy. His lovely wife Montra wouldn't like that at all. Following some rather huge elephant around the place. He is. He's off out shopping, and I don't think it's nice shopping. Last of the big spenders at Lidl. What we had to pass Morrison's, Iceland, Aldi, and Tesco's, and a photograph of Montra. What wants Montra to be pushing the trolley? Oi, Jones, get in there and do the man's thing. Right. Anyway, sorry. Country songs. You'll see that Holly brings her own ready-made gang along with her. Yes, we started off with George Goss. Now, all this is is sort of a nod to, at the moment, there is a music festival going on in Alabama in the southern states of America. And a couple of years ago, well, some years ago now, 5 years ago, I was lucky enough with my TV program to go over there and cover this music festival and made loads and loads of friends. And as I said to a couple of the people who I've been conversing with on social media, no, of course, I'll never see Alabama again. They don't take to people like me. Hey, they don't like their guys looking like girlies, and they got guns to emphasise it, but I still have a soft spot, so this is a nod to the Frank Brown. But George Goss, you know, he makes my living hell. There ain't no honky tonks in jail. There's 21 men in a 10-man cell. There ain't no honky tonks. You could, I'm sorry, lovely Wolvians, but do that in a Bilston accent. It just don't cut it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. Hold on tight. Here we go.
Again, the trouble being doing a video show, you've got to pull out some of the naffer areas of videos. What was that all about? I really have no idea. Funny little story. Obviously, part of my my transition into being me is, believe it or not, I have actually had speech therapy, and part of it was we actually sort of studied that because there is two ends of the vocal spectrum there, and my aim was to get to the squeaky little voice. Come on, Barbie girl. It never was gonna work. Gee whiz, honey, I'm 6'2" tall and probably about the same wide. It's never gonna have that small timbre that they were looking for. I'm just me, take me as I am, kid.
Get ready for the wildest experience.
Now.
Right. Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and of course, like every other female presenter ever on radio, I've used that as a theme tune because we just do this sort of thing, and you've got to sit there with a glass of girly bubbles in your hand, and we've done all that as well. Right, if you wonder what you've stumbled across here on Radio Wolves, I am Holly Miami. This is Holly's Wild Side. This is a new show to your Wednesday afternoon. We'll be here every week between 2 and 4, and dishing out a particular, peculiar kind of brand of entertainment to brighten up your, I think they call it hump day, don't they? I could be totally misconstrued. Well, I can't. Well, you stop sniggering at the back there. So I'm through till 4 o'clock, and then we got the lovely Diane Hogarth right through till 5, and then the absolutely delightful Tom Malloy on at 5. So stay with us. We got all live entertainment all afternoon for you and into the evening to keep you going and to help you through your otherwise quite boring day.
Great music that makes you want to turn up the volume loud.
There isn't too many Holly shows that go out without a little bit of Santana or one of the great guitar gods in. Obviously, as I mentioned before, being a musician as I am, it's something that's quite close to my heart. Right, this is a video show, and as I said earlier on in the show, not all my shows are going to be, in fact very few are going to be, because they are rather a pain, but I do this occasionally. But it allows you to dig out tunes or videos that you wouldn't normally play. Okay, we all remember Trio with Da 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 from probably the 70s, because it was batty enough and the right kind of drugs were around at the time. I was actually sent this video by a work colleague of mine at the time, and it's unbelievable. So please, if you haven't dropped onto the Twitch channel, give it a go just for this video, because this is off this planet.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition. Strap in. You're about to listen to the hottest sounds. It's the hottest mixtape in the world, and you've got it.
Right, at least one of the down things about doing shows in the afternoon like this, when we started off, it was quite bright, well, not quite sunshine, but bright outside. Now it's getting dusky, and the whole light has changed. Now, anybody who's had anything to do with video understands. Obviously, this is a green screen setup, and as the light changes, everything else changes. And you can see I'm still having to duck down to keep the lighting off my glasses, and it gives me that sort of Princess Di coy look that I'm looking over my glass. Anyway, and that's by the by. A Trio with Da Da Da. It made me laugh. The guitarist sort of stands up, plays his couple of chords, and then sits back down. I have played with people like that. I played with a lead guitarist. Okay, I think he was pretty well off his face, but he sort of got up, did a and then went and sat back on his amp again. Oh, it's so got to be. Okay, next one coming up is Every Girls theme tune. Yes, we've done Girls Just Want to Have Fun, but this one particularly, from many years before I became me, or before I came out, and for many years after, and you've a number of people have already seen the picture of me in front of the truck in heels when Dazzle was doing the song about it on the show earlier, and I actually used to drive lorries in heels. In fact, when I first came out, I drove everything in heels. I spent the whole of my time in 4-inch heels. So this next song is one of my theme tunes.
Hey, did you see that dodgy looking geezer? I don't know. I'm not
Hit after hit, all day long. This is the home of the best music throughout your workday.
Bueno cancio para Kirsty McCall en Asbestos Zapatos. Yes, in these shoes. In fact, one of my first ever radio jobs was on Radio Torrox down on the Costa del Sol in South Spain, and it was sort of what gave me the real love for the place. And you'll find that I filter in a lot of it's called Latino, but I have regented it, obviously, and it's now Latino music, which is why I've dovetailed the next one in. I was going to be a little bit further down the list, but I thought I'd pop this one in now just after this. It seems to fit. You'll find that Holly shows do a lot of alternative versions. I have this theory, and it's quite contentious, that very often the cover is better than the original. I know a lot of Northern Soul DJs are absolutely throwing grenades at their radio at the moment, but I'm sorry, as a musician they are. The Beatles could write brilliant songs, but they couldn't arrange a song to save their life. But that's just how it goes. So this is a version of Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow by Leslie Grace. Now, Leslie Grace is a Spanish singer. I think she's Mexican, but is more American influence than mainland Spain on the language. But have a listen. The first couple of bars are great, and then when they go into Spanish, they flick the whole thing over to a lovely Latin beat. Yes, I know I'm being boring. I'll shut up and play the video. Miami, shut up and play the video. Right, okay.
Live the life. Respect the music. And keep your radio locked in.
Do Parramatta Tea. manana. How she fitted manana in, I do not know. You see what I mean about arrangements? We love that. Leslie Grayson, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? Right, okay, let's go back on track. A couple of years ago, the job I used to do, as I say, used to involve going around delivering cars, and very often we worked in pairs, so we spent a lot of hours on the road with people who sort of only knew as work colleagues, and in a very confined space of perhaps a small car, you've got to sort of dream up things to talk about. Amazing, all load of gobbledygook, and no wonder I always sort of veered towards radio, if I could always do this sort of thing. But I was working with a younger colleague, and we were talking about music, one of my fave subjects, and this girl said to me, I bet I can play you a tune on my phone that you will absolutely hate because it's a modern tune. And I said, play it, and I bet I don't.
Online and on the go on your mobile phone, we're the internet's best choice.
Somebody put a cap on that jingle with you. Ava Max with So Am I. You've got to be different because so am I. And I thought, yet again, it's sort of a bit of a theme tune thing. Right, okay. Some of us go back a number of years, and we have been sort of doing... I used to do discos years ago before people realised you actually had to be good at being a DJ, so I packed it in then. I think I went back to the bands, it was easier. But it's a matter of, can you remember where you were when you first heard this?
Taking you back in time as we rewind the music.
I was in a factory welding central heating radiators. Why that sticks in my mind, I have no idea. But to hear sort of a factory full of blokes attempting to do the oh bit. Oh, as an aside, they put it to some really high-level musicians to work out what chord that was, what key that was, and they came out with all sorts of things with hashtags and sharps and flats and all the rest of it. And I just put it down as Z flat. But there you go. So. If I said to you, Fairground Attraction, everybody and their dog would play perfect. And if I said to you, what did Eddie Reader ever do after? Nobody would know. Well, I don't know what she was before Fairground Attraction, but she certainly went off and did a very, very good act as a folk singer. But before that, Fairground Attraction did this.
We're not magicians. We just put magic into our music.
Yes, the delightful Eddie Reader. Shut up with your crowd and your clapping. With Fairground Attraction, with Find My Love. Right, we've got about 10 minutes left of the show. So I'm going to pick the pace up now so you can all have a real bop around and really lay it down and show what we can do here on Radio Wolves. We can show the world that we can be footloose.
Without you, this radio station wouldn't be here. Without us, it would just be... Thanks for tuning in and making it possible.
There you go, Kenny Loggins with his foot loose. Right, okay, so it seems like we got to the end of this first edition of Holly's Wild Side here on Radio Wolves. Don't forget, don't disappear. We have the absolutely gorgeous Diane coming on just after me, and after her, the even more gorgeous Tom coming on at 5. So stick with us here on Radio Wolves because the entertainment is just absolutely top-notch once I finished. And it was pretty top-notch before I started, so there's a little bit of a crater in the middle, but there you go. I'm sure that when you don't hear me this slot next week, we'll work out what's happened. Right. Because this is my first show, and because I wanted to leave you lovely Wolvians with something that you can do in a Bilston accent, I'm playing out on the first British 1 kilowatt PA band in the world back in the early 70s. They are Dear to Your Hearts, and this is from me, Holly Miami, to you lovely Wolvians. We're going out on a bit of the lads. Just remains for me, Holly Miami, to wish you all the best until we meet up again, and to simply say bye bye.